Alright, in this video we're going to look at how we can use simple shape tools to create graphics that could be used as standalone art or as part of a larger infographic. And for this exercise we're going to kind of have in mind that there's a story that we're doing about bathroom graffiti. And so we're going to take and do a little twist on that iconic restroom icon. One thing you might notice that is different about my workspace is that my panels are over here next to my tools. I do prefer that. I do prefer that my panels are not on the opposite side of my toolbar, so I'm not bouncing back and forth. To me, it just makes for an easier working environment. That, of course, is your call, however you design your own workspace. So to get started, we're going to look at some shape tools. Our shape tools are located here, and notice they have a little triangle located to the bottom right. Any of those tools that have that means that there's embedded tools. So if you click on that and then tear that off, you have a panel that can be pulled and used separately from the toolbar itself. It makes it a little easier, has it closer to your workspace. So we're going to begin by drawing our background, and I actually want to draw it from the center out. So with my rounded rectangle shape selected, I'm going to hold the Alt key down and simply marquee that out. The Alt key allows me to draw from the center out. I want to create more of a curve here on the edge. So I'm going to go up to my corner radius. Note that right here you can change what that corner looks like. And here you can change how much of a radius you would like, how much of a curve. I'm going to switch back to my direct selection tool by hitting V and just show you that when you do that, you do have some limits on how you can scale that up. So keep in mind that that corner radius does give you some limitations. Now we're going to lock this object because we're going to be drawing on top of it and we don't want it moving around on us. To do that, we're going to go up to Object, Lock, and Selection. That's Command 2 for those of you who like keyboard shortcuts. Now we're going to start building our icon. So we're going to start with the shoulders, and I'm going to be drawing these white with a black stroke. And we'll actually remove that stroke later, but we'll worry about that down the road. And that's about a good width for my shoulders, I think. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to let go. And we're actually going to grab our zoom tool, zoom in at this point. That was keyboard shortcut Z. Now I can start building my arms with our rounded rectangle. We're going to make those a little skinnier. And I do want both of my arms to be the same size. So with this one selected with my selection tool, I'm going to Alt and drag to copy it. And then I can just place, rotate my arm however I would like. And this one's going to be up here. And we're going to have it kind of going in this direction. And we can always move things later, so we don't need to be perfect right now. Now we'll draw the body. It's perfectly fine if those shapes overlap. So if I were going to do a male figure, I would go ahead and leave this shape as is. If I want to change it to a female figure, all I need to do is grab my direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, or keyboard shortcut A. And I'm just going to pull in these tops so I start getting that dress image that we have. And I can move that and adjust that however I would like. Go back to the selection tool. If I want to scale this a little larger, I can. Now we're ready for leg shapes. Again, back to the rounded rectangle. We're going to add some more keyboard shortcuts here. So I've drawn my shape. I want to copy it, so I'm going to hold down the Command key, which gives me a temporary selection tool, and my Alt key, which will allow me to copy it. and then let go, and I'm still actually in my drawing tool. So cool little trick there. Our ellipse tool, and we are going to draw a circle. And again, we're going to start it from the center out, so that's the Alt key, and we want a perfect circle, so we're going to hold the Shift and let go when we think we're good. Let's zoom out and see how we did. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. So now we're going to unite these body parts, because it's going to be a little weird to have those all kind of disparate parts. And to do that, I'm going to use my shapebuilder tool. The shapebuilder tool can both unite and divide objects. It is buried with the live paint bucket because they kind of work very similar. So I'm actually going to start by selecting all my body parts, and I'm just shifting and clicking on them back to my shape builder, and you can see I start getting those grid look, and I'm going to use that to kind of mouse over, and I can let go and I can add more areas, and I'm just mousing over all parts of my design, and that's creating a unified figure. So now I have one shape that can be moved, one shape that can be scaled, and it's all one solid shape. It also removed my stroke to just the outside, so if I want to remove that now, I can select my stroke, hit none, and so that looks pretty good. So now we're going to paintbrush in the background here, just acting like this is some spray paint, say in a bathroom. So I've selected my brush tool to make sure I have a white stroke, and I'm going to change that brush to this 6-point brush, and we'll just brush on here, see how we like that. That's pretty cool. So you can change your brushes. You can go into your brush panel and look at more brushes, and we'll talk about brushes in a later chapter, but there's all kinds of different brush libraries you can open and work with. So let's say as a final step we want to design something to kind of make it look like the sign is hanging somewhere. So we'll grab our ellipse tool, and we're going to do a dark blue just for some contrast. I'm just drawing a circle out. And now I want some lines to look like they're hanging behind this. So let's look at that. As you can see, what has happened with that stroke is that stroke drew on top of it. And that's not really what I want. I want it to actually look like it's going behind both of these. So in that case, whenever I want to draw an object behind another object, I go down at the bottom of my toolbar, and I'm going to switch my drawing mode to draw behind. Grab that same line tool. I'm going to increase my width here, still my contrasting color. Drag it from the center over here, drag it from the center over here, and you can see I have that drawn behind. So that's another cool tip when you are using simple shape tools to draw icons, is remember that you can switch into that draw behind. You can also switch to a draw inside mode. So I'm going to draw inside. So this person has a lot of paint on their shirt. So notice it is all staying inside that object, and it stops right at the edge. And if you don't believe me, we'll go ahead and unlock our background and delete it, and you can see that it is not behind anything. So great tip to use that draw behind or draw inside to kind of help you work with your simple shape drawing in Illustrator.